Hey guys, what's going on? Sal Vasquez here. Hope you guys are having a great day. I want to share something from my heart. It's always from the heart. Listen, I know that there are many of you, myself included, that are going through some really challenging times. And you know what? There are some seasons that we go through where life can seem extremely hard, where your trials and your situations and just the things that you're experiencing kind of seem like you'll never get through it. You'll never get past it. Your mountain sometimes seems insurmountable. But I want to let you know that it's not. And I want to let you know this, that whatever we go through and those times in our lives that seem the most difficult and the most challenging, it's meant to help us become the best possible version of ourselves that we can. So, you know, there are either two options. Either you lay down and you let life steamroll right over you, and you just lay there. You know, you lay there bruised and bleeding and you never get up and you kind of just give in and you escape reality and you find things to kind of escape reality because it just hurts too much and it's just too hard. But then there's those other people that will use life situations and circumstances, and you'll allow that to shape you. You'll allow that to mold you into the best possible version of you. And when you do that, life changes. Your reality changes. The way that you see the world changes. Your circumstances don't change because your circumstances are your circumstances. The stuff that you're going through, man, you're going through it. But the truth is, you're just going through it. You can get to the other end of that. And if you go through it in a certain way, you'll come out on the other side transformed. You'll come out a lot bigger. You'll have a lot more spaciousness to you. You'll have a higher tolerance to deal with hard circumstances and situations, and you'll be at a place where you'll finally be able to step into the fullness of who you were created to be. So don't let your circumstances and those hard things that you're going through take you out. Let it develop you to who you were created to be. And I want to talk about one very specific thing. And sometimes you have to do things that are kind of out of the norm of your everyday way of dealing with things because it's just not working. Sulking doesn't work. Feeling sorry for yourself doesn't work. Getting caught up in a negative mindset, which I personally have the propensity to do, it's not gonna work. There has to be something that you can do that will produce a different type of results. And I've personally found the only way to really go through a hard time in your life in a healthy way is to constantly try to tell a different story. And the only way that you can really tell a different story is if you're changing the way that you're thinking and you're changing the way that you're feeling. And when you do that, when you're able to do that, I guarantee you'll experience different results. And so I know for me, and I just want to share one very practical thing that you can do to help you really get through this hard and challenging time that you're going through. And you know what? Maybe you're watching this and you're not going through something, but chances are you're either going through something, you're about to go through something, or you're about to step out of whatever it is that you're going through, that hard time, that life situation that just kind of seems insurmountable. And so I want to challenge you to do this, and it's something that I personally have to do in order to jar myself out of the same old story. You see, because our brain, it's lazy and it wants to do things the same old way. So for me personally, there are mornings where I know I have to get up before the kids get up, before my wife gets up. I have to make sure that I force myself out of bed before anybody is up in the morning so that I can speak to myself. And so hear me out. I have to get up before everyone so that I can have a deep conversation with my true self, with the person that I know that I'm created to be. Not the person that's playing it safe, not the person that's playing it small, not the Sal that's affected and wants to hide and retreat because life is hard. I have to speak to the spiritual part of who I am. And maybe this is foreign to some of you, and maybe some of you guys really need to hear this right now. But you know what? I want to challenge you to speak to the person. Sorry, the sun's in my eyes. Speak to the person, the spiritual part of who you are, the bigger part of who you are, the deeper part of who you are, your true self. And when you get in touch with that person, when you can connect with that person, you'll be able to go through your situation. You'll be able to go through your trial or whatever it is you're going through in a different way. And the way that we go through our circumstances makes all the difference in the world. Because once again, you can go through it in a certain way and you'll experience certain results, or you can go through it in a way where you can slay it. You can slay your circumstances and situations instead of just kind of going through the motions in life. And so this is what I would suggest you do. I would suggest, and it could be weird. Now, if you were a fly on the wall in my kitchen when I'm pacing at 6 o'clock in the morning and nobody's up, and I'm talking to myself and I'm saying, Sal, you can do this. Sal, the circumstances seem like this, but rise up, Sal, because you can make it through this. Rise up, Sal, tell a different story. How do you want to feel, Sal? How do you want to go through this? How do you want to experience this? And I have to tell myself a different story. I have to tell myself a better feeling story. I can't look at my situation and tell it how it is. Because if I were to tell my story to myself how it is, I would be in the land of complaining. I would be in the land of feeling sorry for myself. And you know what? I know that when I feel sorry for myself, I know that when I start to complain, that my life and the things that I experience are going to meet me there. And I know it could seem weird because you can say, but the situation is a situation. Well, the situation is this situation because every single day, that's what you're thinking about. Every single day, that's what you're feeling. You're feeling a certain way about your life. And you know what? It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. That's what you're creating. But if you can rise up, and tell yourself a better feeling story, even though the reality is your life sucks right now, or you're really going through some really hard stuff and it hurts and it's painful. If you can tell yourself, if you could speak to the spiritual part of who you are and tell that person it's time to rise up. It's time to go through this in a different way, Sal. It's time to go through this in a different way, self, whoever you are and whatever you're going through. I guarantee you will experience some different results. So don't tell your story how it is. Don't tell the reality of your story. Tell your story how you want it to be. I'm happy. I'm filled with joy. I'm filled with passion. Money flows into my life easily. I am healthy. And you should begin to tell a different story. Tell it how you want it to be. Don't get stuck down on the ground feeling sorry for yourself. Don't get stuck in that place. Go through your situation in a different way. Go through it in a healthy way. And I want you to try this. I want you to try to just begin to wake up in the morning. Maybe you have to, rush out for work. Get up 15 minutes before you have to go to work. Get up 15 minutes before you know your kids are going to be all over you, asking you to make them breakfast. And, before your day starts, begin to call those things begin to call those things that are not as though they are. It's actually an ancient scripture. Begin to call those things that are not as though they are. So whatever your situation is, whatever your trial is, whatever you're going through that's causing you stress, whatever it is, and we all have it, we're all going through it. That's how life is. That's what it's about. But once again, those things are they're put in our life to make us stronger, to make us better, to have us finally step into the fullness of who we are. So I want to challenge you today, tomorrow, whenever you get a chance, make some time to start talking to yourself. And it has to be out loud. You have to interrupt that internal dialogue that's going on, and it's running. It's like a record player that's scratched, and it just keeps going around, and it gets stuck in that same place. Start to speak over yourself. Start to speak words of life over yourself where you usually speak words of death over yourself. And you don't even realize, because a lot of the time it happens in our subconscious where we're speaking a story over our life that we're used to, and it feels comfortable, and there's a reason why, and I don't have time to get into all that right now. But I just want to challenge you. Start speaking words of life over yourself. If you have to look like an idiot and pace all over your house and do things that are going to interrupt the story that you normally have, do it. Do whatever it takes to change your current situation. The only way that you're going to do that is through your mind, through your heart, and through the way that you feel. To have a different story, to have a different attitude, to have a different type of passion for your life. Don't get caught up with where you're at. Begin to tell yourself a different feeling story. Anyway, I hope this was helpful for some of you guys. I love you deeply. The reason why I do this, the reason why my wife and I continue to just put stuff out there is so that we can share with you, so that we can just be a blessing, and we're all in this together. We're all one. We're all connected. And I want to tell a different story. You know, I want to be right there with you telling a different story. And I get caught up all the time. But the truth is, you can create whatever it is you want to create. You can do it. And I know you can. So anyway, hope you have a great day. I will talk to you soon. Peace.